Okay, come take a seat, guys. We're just starting this up. If you're wondering what this glowing round table is, we're not necessarily going on a trip to Mars, but we're going on a conversational journey on this flying saucer of chat where everyone is welcome. This is Talkaoke pop-up talk show. Talkaoke this is, and obviously we're here at the gala premiere opening of a certain film. But let's get some names. My name's Mikey. I'm going to turn myself up as well. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Is that working? I don't know, maybe not. My name's Mikey. Let's get some names. What's your name? No. Anyway, what's your name?
Artem.
Artem. And?
Julia.
Julia, yeah.
Max.
Max, yeah. And?
Faye.
Yeah.
Rick.
Nick.
Dan.
Lily.
And?
Kenzo.
Is that him or the...
No, him obviously. Ina.
And who have we got over here?
Bella.
Bella, okay. And other people, pull up some chairs. We're going to get a conversation going. I don't know what it's going to be about. That's the whole thing about Talkaoke. We don't know where this conversation's going to go. Has anyone got anything they want to start off with? Any thoughts, comments, observations, suggestions?
Any thoughts?
Well, what about you? Artem, have you got any thoughts? No, nothing? Max, have you got anything?
When we will land on Mars.
What's that?
When we will land on Mars.
What do you think? When will we land on Mars?
People have predicted that we will land on Mars in the next 4 years.
In the next 4 years? Okay. What do other people think? Does anyone, do you want to go to Mars, Max? You're not sure? Yeah. Anyone want to go to Mars? What do you think? 4 years to get to Mars?
I think the idea that we're going to go there en masse, that's going to be some utopian human project that we're all going to share is slightly felonious. I think that actually it will be a very small group of people. Yeah. If it's going to be terraformed and people are going to live on that planet, then it's not going to be for the likes of us. Do you know what I mean? This is going to be a second phase.
What do you mean terraformed?
Well, that's when you take over something that's uninhabitable and then you make it into something that you can use for agriculture and make it a human-safe habitat. Yeah. And it's so expensive to do this, and it will be such a... Well, I mean, it's lawless because it's Mars. Right. I mean, we have Earth laws, but once you get to a point where you've got another planet, how are you to enforce Earth laws on Mars?
Okay, so there's a question.
Colonization for preservation purposes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you want to preserve us.
Okay, I mean, what do people think? What is the legal system of Mars going to be like? Are there going to be any laws at all?
Wherever we decide, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean,
it's whoever lands there first gets to kind of make the rules, or whoever they land there on behalf of.
Would the rules be different to what we've got down here on Earth with the Mars rules? And if anyone was going to be a law writer here, how would you write the rules differently, or would you keep it pretty much the same?
Universal. It already exists. It's universal law. You can't change it. Like it's.
What do you mean?
No.
You can't change. Is the
universal
the
law.
law is the law for the whole universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no just earthen law. It's universal.
Okay.
Physical law would take over what we'd consider common laws, for example, gravity up there. You couldn't consider normal parameters of law here when the laws of physics are different. You'd have to start at the base level again, wouldn't you?
Okay.
But you can't
Science.
You can't presume that people, if you take people from Earth and then you put them on a different planet, everything is already going to be culturally determined by how they were brought up here and how they feel here. So dependent on whom you put there, they're still going to have cultural things that they take from their time before. So it's really difficult to start afresh when you have a group of people that already lived somewhere else.
Do we want to start fresh? I mean,
Right after this coronavirus. We might start, fresh. Everybody heard what I just said, so I don't know. I'm repeating myself to the microphone.
So what you're saying is coronavirus is going to wipe the slate clean. It's a chance, maybe not even on Mars, but to take...
I think there might be a turning point right now. We might be not, but it might be something we've never witnessed before. It is happening, something we've never witnessed before, and maybe it's time to reevaluate the reality we're living in and the system we're living in.
I mean, what would you change any of the laws or change any
I would change everything.
Really?
I would, trash everything and start from the beginning.
Okay. Revolution. Well, I mean,
I don't believe in revolution, because revolution like never works, obviously, for many reasons. I do believe in evolution, and I think that may be what is happening right now.
will we evolve into a different species with the coronavirus? We don't need to go to Mars because things are going to be radically different here. Will they? I mean, what do people agree with that? Where do we want to go with this conversation? We want to talk about Mars, the virus, Earth, rewriting the laws, something completely different.
Mass hysteria about everything.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah, no hysteria. Hysteric, like a point of the media, like nothing more.
Okay.
It's just like a manipulation behind one action, which is actually happening. There's all the time action behind the action, and everyone divert into one action, but behind that action there's a different action.
So you think
And there's a behind even that action is some kind of action, and then everyone just an illusion like, oh, I have to believe in that. But actually behind, they know that there's some kind of trick, but they still.
believing in it?
I'm observing.
Okay. I mean, what do people think? Do people believe in the hysteria? Do they believe that for want of a better word, the feces are going to hit the air cooling device?
Well, I mean, it's been played down a lot by the Chinese media, etc. And the situation in Italy was taken quite casually. I mean, I think hysteria is pointless. There's nothing that's improved by being panicked. But I think it's in the government's interest to try and quell. You see how people react with toilet paper? Completely irrational, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they're not going to say, oh yeah, you know, like the figures.
They're actually playing it down a little bit.
Well, I agree with what you're saying about there's an agenda within an agenda within an agenda. So what actually is going on here, we don't know. The government never tell us the truth. Why would they? It's a business.
It has been, so it's now been classed as a pandemic, and there's only been 4 pandemics really before that. So it's HIV and AIDS, which currently still exists, influenza, Spanish flu, and the plague. So if you go back to the plague, obviously there was like 400 million deaths, which is completely different to things like HIV, which is still killing people now, or they're completely different. So it depends what you class as a pandemic and what is to worry and what isn't. So it's actually quite subjective in terms of like how serious you could take it.
Are you worried?
I'll be honest, I wasn't worried, but my sister is a doctor, and she said yesterday she's a doctor in Bristol, and they have started clearing out zones in hospitals. But on the less worrying side, it's because the respiratory factors of coronavirus, a lot of the elderly people need masks, and they don't have an unlimited amount, which is a problem in Italy. A lot of people are dying because they don't have enough respiratory masks, as opposed to the virus taking over. So it's.
Sorry, here first.
I think.
And the moment that it all happens.
Patient zero in the room.
Exactly.
But they're planning it on a medical ground. I think the problem is the media's overhyping it, and the government isn't doing enough. So I think, unfortunately, there's not a middle ground.
When there's a question
really.
that doesn't get answered, you inevitably have people who make up their own answers, and most people's own answer is to panic buy toilet roll rather than buy vitamins and medicines that might actually benefit you when you do get sick. They buy toilet roll that isn't really going to be of any help in a week's time. You can always find a way to wash your ass, but you can't find a way to get vitamins in your body if you're not able to go outside.
Luxury velvet feeling.
Papier-mâché new kingdom, we're going to need a lot of construction material. Maybe the toilet roll could be what we make the new society out of.
This is actually, we just went to Tesco before we came here to get some booze, and this is literally the photo from Tesco. No toilet paper.
Yeah, yesterday was the same.
This is no shitting anymore. No, this is Tesco. We just came from Tesco.
But you know on eBay.
What is going on?
People's priorities get skewed when they don't have a rational answer, do they?
Is this really the biggest worry here, the lack of toilet paper?
And influenced by others. So it's not that people think they need toilet roll. Yeah, but enough people hear about other people buying toilet roll. It's a knock-on effect of like almost like a sheep mentality, as opposed to anyone. If you asked anyone that's bought loads of toilet paper and you ask them why, they'd probably say because everyone else is buying toilet paper, not because they actually think they need it. So it's more like a knock-on effect than it is actually any rationality.
I mean, if we did colonise Mars, would we have these same like sheep effects on Mars? Or would the people going to Mars be a bit more...
Nature. If you got there and one person freaked out, you're going to find the next person starting to freak out, and the next person.
So it's almost like a virus of hysteria then. So
Social contagion, that's what they call it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it, that's all I was going to say.
So we've got this social contagion going. How do you feel about this, Max? Any thoughts on it? Do you feel that you're in the midst of a social contagion? Do you know what that means?
Sounds like a dance.
No idea.
No idea. Okay, what's a social contagion?
It's basically like a mimetic idea that gathers pace because people are picking it from each other. Yeah, right? Yeah. I guess it's like that idea with with European Union. If you tried to start a conversation about European Union before 2016, hardly anyone would have anything to say to you. But what do you think about the EU? By the end, everybody has a very elaborate, personalised narrative about their relationship with the EU, and that is because it was hyper-focused, and it was hyper-focused by the media.
Okay, so is it the media hyping us up, or did the media do the toilet paper thing?
Yeah. So the thing is about the Brexit, I remember it was 2013-14, I just almost tried to go away in Greece, just to drop everything and go away, and one of my customer was hidden assistant of Prime Minister of Defense of Britain, yeah? Very old man, he looks like real deaf, like picture framing. So in Earl's Court there's a lot of weirdos, and he was around maybe 80, a little bit older, and he was actually the hidden assistant of Prime Minister of Defense. Yeah, and in that time I don't know why, he just told, we just start chat about life, then and then he said, you're Russian, you have a brains, if I'll go to the war, I'll go with you, I will go in the war. And I will tell you to the son, make residence before you go to Greece. It was 2013. And I smoked the doobie and I'm I don't need that residency, because he already told me that Britain will go out of the Europe. It was 2013. So it's 6 years ago. Yeah, it's not a prediction. There is we'll say, consciousness already told you that something will be. They programming each step. It's like a domino. They know where it goes, how it will end up. They're just watching how we will react now. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Are we the sheep? Are we the dominoes ready to fall? What's going on with this? Do we feel like we're in a program? The coronavirus is the latest thing to be added to the program?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
The reason for this, I can tell you absolutely certainty. I sound like a kid when I say this, but I said to my best friend the day before this happened, I said, we're due another contagion, we're due another pandemic scare.
Okay.
Because things happen in tropes and patterns.
Right.
So if I sit here and explain it, I'm going to sound like a crazy person.
Okay, come on then, let's hear it.
No, but there's certain tropes in news. So I started off studying media, right? So I pay a lot of attention to the use of language and then stories, the way stories are positioned, things like that. And then you start to notice patterns in language, the way language has changed. So certain keywords are altered, so our perception of those things change. Like we can take, for example, welfare. The idea of social security in this country has been completely rebranded from our old system, this perception of this is a social support network, to this American idea that it's a charitable welfare. It's all the language is really important. So with the news, it's the same thing, the way that the issues are coached and presented to us. And once you start to become sensitive to that, you can see patterns. Things stupid stuff that I've noticed, like airplane stories, things related to missing planes and stuff like that, they kind of come in regular patterns. What's the other thing? You just have to look. Yeah. And as I said, when you say this without the research that goes with it, you sound like a crazy person. So I don't have these conversations much. Okay. But I knew that on the timeline that we're at, that something like this was due.
Right.
And that scares me, because that means there's an intelligence behind it, which is strategic.
Okay. I guess the question from that I'm going to infer is how paranoid is a healthy amount of paranoia? None at all, or quite real technology?
No, I'm not very paranoid.
No.
I don't think you should be smug. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, I don't think you should panic, because that's the whole point that they're trying to make us do in a way,
Okay, so you're paranoid not because you don't believe there's a conspiracy, but because you don't want to fall into the trap.
It depends how much it affects
affect you in the sense of like if you have a healthy amount of questions that makes you see things differently and you learn, that's one thing. If you have a sense of paranoia or conspiracy theories to the point where it affects your life or your mental health, or you develop things like agoraphobia, that's completely different. That's an unhealthy amount of paranoia. Unfortunately, the things with conspiracy theories, etc., you won't get answers to a lot of them regardless of what your theory and what the evidence is. So it depends if it piques your curiosity or whether it makes you, physically quite ill by how passionate you are about it. I think it's whether you have a balance.
Okay, so it can go over into anxiety and mental health, but it's good to ask a lot of questions.
Always.
It's quite interesting, just a real quick note, like you've used the term conspiracy theory. Now this, for me, gets conflated with questioning authority. I know exactly why you've used that term, but there's this, during 9/11, God, are we on 9/11? Sorry. During 9/11, there were legitimate questions about the things that happened, and it wasn't a conspiracy. It was like, how did somebody make a call from a plane that was travelling at speed was at 30,000 feet where there was no airphone and no mobile would work? That's a physics question, it's a legitimate question. It's not because you're crazy, it's because someone told me the story. I'm doing my kind of due diligence with my rational mind. I want these answers, right? That kind of thing's been conflated with, well, you think there's aliens that are like rulings on the moon. That's bollocks, that's spurious, I have no evidence of that, but I do have questions.
Okay. It's an ambiguous term in the sense that I think that unfortunately people who are conspiracy theorists, and it's been coined, and it's been by definition been given a very negative term, but in its theory that's what it is. It's by no means a negative trait, it's just an ambiguous term that falls into a lot of brackets, and I think people who have these theories are like, it's not conspiracy theory. It's like, by definition it is, but that should by no means have a negative trait, because all it is this is a theory that will unfortunately have.
There's a difference between theories and questions though, and I think the conflation, the dangerous things, it's not individuals, it's the way it's represented. So if you say, oh, this water in Michigan is contaminated, why hasn't the government done anything? The fact that that can be conflated with, oh, you think Pluto is, because this is how it's now been. In the media, if you say something that is contrary to the authoritative narrative, then you're like, oh, what's wrong with you? So this used to be, dissent is normal, it's patriotic, it's what we do, it's an English trait.
So coronavirus would then be like, oh, so coronavirus, I don't know where it's come from, is a question. If it's like they're being programmed as being released by the government, etc., that's a conspiracy theory.
Let's find out what people think about this. I mean, how much do we think that we're not being told about the coronavirus? Do we think we're being informed? Regardless of the panic buying of toilet paper, do we think we know everything we need to know about it?
85%.
85%. Okay, what do you think is missing from this?
Like real truth.
Yeah, okay. So maybe get 85. Maybe we can just go around the table and get
we just say there exists this virus and what is behind, because we just can guess.
Okay, how much percentage of the truth do you think we're getting?
50.
50?
I would say it depends how you research it. So I will say 99.
Well, we're getting 99% of the truth.
There's so much option to do on investigation for the different sources, then you will get to the point, some kind of,
So you say the information is out there, we just need to look for it?
You just need to not eat everything what was given, but do your investigation. This is the inspiration.
But if you do your investigation, the information is there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, information is there.
Okay. How much percentage of the truth?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, like if we had this conversation 2 days ago, we would have very different conversation to today.
Yeah.
Since yesterday, a lot of things changed in my head. And one of the things I think we spoke about this yesterday on the phone, was that all the time I've been thinking that, how many people die of flu, how many people die of coronavirus, this is absolute panic, this is madness in society, bringing the fear. And I kind of kept this until like a couple of conversations I had with people. Yeah, the dog is farted. You might just stay in my face. Sorry. Oh, that's not Yogi. So I have to apologize for him. Anyway, so
is that part of the
very English. Yeah. So a couple of conversations I had with few people who actually did some research, including Bella, but also I think the turning point was when I saw the tweet of Trump, who tweeted exactly the same thing that I've been repeating, that, you know, this amount of people died from flu, this amount of people died of coronavirus, you know, just think about that, don't share panic. And that was the red flag for me, because if I agree with Trump, it means that I have to be wrong. Because there's literally no way that something stays, basically, and it's not a part of my friend's job.
Okay, we've got another potential new customer here. This is Talkaoke. Well, it's pop-up talk show. We talk about anything really we want. At the moment we're talking quite predictably about coronavirus. How paranoid are people? How much of the truth are we actually getting? We're getting different ranges from like 50% to 99%. How much of the actual truth are we getting? And what about if we agree with Donald Trump? Does that mean something's badly wrong? That's where we are right now with this. How much of the truth do you think we're getting?
I'd say it's 50-50 because firstly, there is not enough data to support any of the statements.
Right.
Not enough research has been done. Also, the actual virus mutates, so it's a different version in every country.
Right.
I mean, in a way.
Right.
And yes, it's going to be months before the whole crisis will be resolved, and hopefully the cure will be fine, and all vaccine will be fine, you know.
So you're backing with the cure, but you think the reason
it's just, you know, it's a lack of the actual data to support any of the statements we see in the media.
So
it's all subjective.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, lack of research, lack of knowledge, and basically it's ignorance from every source that, I mean, even in medical profession, you know, nobody knows.
Comes from just not knowing, it's not being hidden.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes, yeah. Some people say, oh, don't worry about wearing a mask, it wouldn't help you, but, well, it would.
Okay, no one's wearing a mask here today.
Well, we're in the healthy sort of segment of, you know, we're not going to die.
So for me,
we're the hardcore ones.
I agree with Ina.
Yeah,
I agree with Ina. For me, since it started, I decided not to read anything.
Right.
Because I know myself, I know that I tend to panic, so I decided not to read, not to get informed, and just get information for people. That's just a way for me not to panic. But the only thing I feel like is we don't really know the numbers of death. We know that we have a lot of people dying in different parts of the world, but it's not really clear. And for me, I think there is always an agenda. Why is the media focusing on certain lines, certain part of the story, and not the other part? So for me, it's a 50-50, and I would say I don't know, and I will see.
So, I mean, it seems like there's three different things here. There's the agenda of the media and the powers that be. But there's also this question of have we got the information or not got the information? Let's just we've got a couple of new faces, so let's just get their names. What's your name?
Chris.
And?
Lorita.
Lorita. So just a moment, we're just trying to find out how much of the information do we have? It ranges from 50% to 99%, as I was saying.
So I only trust scientific papers because I work in research also.
Right, okay.
And also World Health Organization, and I don't read media.
But have you actually been reading those things?
Not a lot because I'm also a bit scared. But actually there is some research that has been done on the virus, so we know how this virus works. We're trying to know it. Because also the discovering of a vaccination is ongoing, I guess. And so in Italy the situation is critical, and I think that here in England people are not behaving well.
What do you mean?
So, I think that we should take care because this virus can spread, as in Italy, for example.
Okay, so we're not taking it seriously?
Yeah, me neither, because I'm here with all these people.
Okay, so I mean, I have to say personally, with my job, I think I'm going to get closed down. Every day could be my last day of doing this. But at the same time, maybe I'm not taking it seriously because maybe I should be just take initiative and say, right, no more talk here.
I have a question for her. And I'm interested when she reads. I'm like you. I don't spend time to read the news because I need to take time to sit down and read some research. So if you compare the coronavirus and the flu, what's the research saying about these two viruses? Because flu kills a lot of people. So what's your opinion on that?
So the thing is, this coronavirus is a mutated form of another coronavirus. I'm not really informed about it. So it is a new form of viruses which is really highly infective. So we have to try to contain it, and we have to understand how it works. And
but compared to influenza, how does it compare?
I don't know because the data are
Trying to understand how it doesn't work.
Influenza kills more people a year. It's been around for a lot longer than the coronavirus.
Yeah,
but people are scared of this new strain of the
Okay, so it's the newness of it in a way.
It's the unknown factor of what's happening at the moment. And what's happened in China that's caused potential what we call hysteria as it is. China dealt with this reasonably well, but they're a very different governed state to what we are. If you mentioned before about how you're worried about being shut down every day, you could stop doing this yourself tomorrow if you were that worried. But general people don't do that because we are not led to believe that's the best course of action. Within the next 2 weeks, that could be the case. But that we all talk about how the government give us information and how we perceive it. We have the choice to do something ourselves. We haven't made that decision because we're still sat here.
Okay, so we at least are the ones that are not taking it that seriously.
Following the advice of the social environment, aren't you? If you stop seeing people in Tesco's, you stop going to Tesco's.
Okay, I mean, are we just as much sheep as the people buying the toilet rolls and the 27 bottles of hand sanitizer?
Sorry, I mean, you leverage risk in life, don't you? I mean, like everything we do has a risk associated with it, and this is a particularly alarming new novel risk, and the death rate is higher than flu. So the actual percentage of people that contract it and then die is greater than flu, and it seems to be a pneumonia-based situation where the respiratory strain and failure is more likely. God, this is such a bummer, isn't it?
Is it worth the risk to see this film, though?
What?
Is it worth?
Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, you should crawl there on your bloody hands and knees.
Okay, so it's definitely worth the risk to come and see the film. Yeah. Okay. Do people feel like? Will people think? Anyone thinking, mate, is it worth the risk to come? Or people will just this is a no-brainer?
Well, he is kind of thinking it is a bit blown out of proportion in a way. I don't know, it seems like, I don't know, like the government's trying to scare people a little bit, and it's a bit of a deviation away from things that are happening in government at the moment.
Yeah.
And part of me thinks it's a bit of a precursor for a no-deal Brexit.
Okay, so because we were talking about the agenda before, but is the agenda just distraction?
I think it's half.
Chris?
I mean, I don't think it's just distraction. If you look at the death rates in South Korea and Italy, it gives you an example of how handling it well and handling it poorly differ. So death
South
rates,
Korea's done it better.
So South Korea had, I believe, 7,500 confirmed cases, 50 deaths.
Right.
Italy has 10,000 cases, 650 deaths.
Right. Have you ever tried to do anything in Italy, though, the infrastructure?
We've got Italians here.
It's not a general district. We did a whole project in Venice, and it wasn't like, I don't know, it's culturally different. Hey, how you doing? It's culturally different. So, it's kind of like people have different responses to things, and my experience was that it was a whole different system out there. So that's going to implement to say, other age country to this country. So it's quite interesting to see that.
Okay, so is it the cultural difference
between here and Italy?
I have to go to the Italian.
I think you pointed something really important that is the aging population.
One of the biggest things that's been reported in it is the age of the population who are passing away. Similar situation in North Korea, in Korea. But Italy is known to have an aging population.
Okay,
not too dissimilar to what we have in England.
Right.
But the mortality rate in the young and the healthy is almost zero, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Not saying it should be ignored, but look at a country with an aging population is always going to suffer higher fatality.
Louisa, what do you think about the organisational abilities of the Italian institution? Yeah.
No, I think that the organization, so government is trying to do, is trying to make a plan. So they are saying to people, stay home, don't move. There is police on the street trying to block people, try to avoid, and it is what has to be done according to me. But people do not behave good. So for example, I don't know if you heard from in the north, there are a lot of red zones.
Yeah.
And before that, the government stopped people to go away from the north. People just started to go in the south of Italy, where we don't have the infrastructures, we don't have hospitals, we don't have anything to compare to the north.
So people just kind of disregard
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we going to go with this? I guess we're going to start the film very shortly. So, please screen the film in here, which does it relate to this coronavirus thing?
It's about posthumanism.
Yeah. How does that relate?
Well, when the posthumanism, where the human body fails, there's a lot of excitement there, and yeah, how we become posthumans.
Okay. You mean we become posthumans by dying from the coronavirus? Let me get final thoughts from everybody. I need a sense of closure before we go to the film. Let me get a final thought from you as well, from everybody at the table. We will be opening this up after the film as well. Let me get a final thought from you.
Let's hope we will know a little bit more soon.
Okay, maybe even after the film. Let's get a final thought.
Keep calm, wash your hands, keep drinking.
Keep
Keep calm, wash your hands, keep drinking.
Whiskey and curry. That's
Just anything,
Oh
really.
God, not any of this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's happened to the alcohol tax? They've watched it together, reduced it. The budget. So yeah, let's keep drinking.
Okay, so alcohol is good. Final thought, Martin? Oh yeah.
This is how the humanity will fail.
I think it's interesting to see how people come together in a crisis and whether this is a wake-up call for how we deal with bigger crises like global warming.
Okay, will this be a wake-up call? Will this actually start to cement our ability to deal with other big crises that we have on this planet?
I'm sorry, I'm Scottish, basically.
You need to go around your place then. Okay, so this has been Talkaoke. We're just about to view the film. I'm going to turn the lights off here so to not distract. Thanks everyone for coming. So who have we got around the table? We have got, that's it at the moment. But, so I guess it probably does fall to me then to ask you, any thoughts? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, we could talk about post-humanism, I guess. I mean, it's topical. So,
It's post-humanism. Does this really give you any sense of what it might be?
I mean, I've been interested in transhumanism, posthumanism for some time. When I was a lot younger, I used to dream of having an exoskeleton and being able to travel 100 meters in the air and all those things. And interestingly, now I look at this idea of living without a body, and now my mind is being able to live outside of our fleshy skins and that being the only route we have to mortality. And whether that would be worth living. What do you think? Would you want to live without a body? Would you want to live as a prayer?
If it was like a holiday, then yeah. Would you want to live without your body? Come and take a seat. So, Chris,
unforgettable biology and
we could also turn the question and ask how much of our experience of reality is based on our body, and would we have a different view of reality if we somehow put a scale on our body? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what would it be?
I don't know.
Okay, any thoughts?
Any thoughts?
Suggestions of what it might be?
No. But I have read years ago, have you ever read it? Break Bear's Blood Music. When everyone gets turned into like grey sheets of goo. And the nanobots where they
Okay, so
and then it's like everyone is can like relive any moment of their lives and changing, and then the nanobots can reconfigure as if they wanted to into reconstitution of their regulation of their body or whatever.
They turn into this kind of collective goo. Have you heard of this novel on this side, The Blood Music by Greg Bear?
Blood music.
It's basically where all of our consciousnesses merge together and all of our cells kind of become a kind of grey goo. And we kind of just like all melt and merge. Basically go down the blood hole, I think is what happens. Into this kind of biomass of collective consciousness. How would you feel about that?
I think it's like, I don't want to say like that you correctly understand, but I all the time in this collective. That's why for me it's consistently happening. Did you get the point? Like, I don't know, some people are aware about it, they're in the same vibe. That's why people all start to tell something, if they don't understand it, they're not in the jam. But I think like there's quite a lot of people aware, that's why they're the same.
Okay, so we're kind of already in the same point. I mean, maybe it's kind of appropriate with the October Collective. How much of a collective are we? Do we want to be more of a collective in that we want to be part of the same organism? We've got a couple of new faces over on this side of the table. So we've got Ina, we've got Artem, we've got Alexandra. What was it again? Nadi, okay. And Ian. And what's your name? Bartholomew. Okay, and Bella, we've got Chris here. So at the moment, transmitted to someone. No, but we are recording it and we will upload it if you're happy with that. The question, we're basically talking about post-humanism and what really it is. Does it mean just escaping your body? Does it mean kind of, there's a novel that was written in the 80s called Blood Music, where everybody in the world kind of like merged together into one single organism.
I think you seem to me to be, maybe I'm wrong, I'm getting a message from Aquarius telling me that your fundamental thing is some kind of world peace throughout the universe, whereas I think conflict is fundamental to the universe, and I don't think whether you go post-human, pre-human, transhuman, whatever, I think there'll always be conflict. Conflict will find a way. It's only through conflict that things actually change. Otherwise, you end up stagnating.
Okay, so
you might be stagnating in a penthouse, but you still suddenly feel to yourself.
So we need a bit of beef.
Like, for example, in that blood music thing, it's not like there isn't that. It's just the strife is kind of like, once everything is like this grey, like physically everything is like one thing, mentally there can be all different types of things. You can relive your life in a different way, like make
so the conflict is there, but in a way it's all just encapsulated into this single organism.
Which is sort of like a virtual.
I mean, is that what's happening now? Is that conflict? Hang on a second, Barty, let's just try.
Always choose the real over the virtual.
Real over virtual, let's spread this out.
That's not going backwards, but it's standing still. Virtual world is no.
Okay, right, let's see what this
fist-to-fist conflict.
Conflict needs for the progress of everything. Without conflict, there is no progress.
I think that's basically what Barty said. But could it be a virtual conflict that's kind of contained
It all the time will be the conflict for I will actual I. Because to understand what is the I, there is all the time will be kind of. But the point to find the balance even in the conflict, kind of not like a I.
Okay, so there's a balance in the conflict.
Yeah.
Okay. What do people agree? Do we need conflict? Is it like essential, Barty and Arson?
Well, I don't think that confrontation is essential.
Confrontation, why?
Well, how else you would, express your opinion?
I think conflict is a natural byproduct of freedom, because if each of us are independent individuals with free thought, we will conflict. That, as Barty's saying, does not have to be aggressive or violent. It's simply a fact that we are different people with different views of the world.
Okay, so we at least have to have different views.
Can I make an announcement, of the topic? So in 4 minutes, there is this installation starting on Mars with the headphones. I think it's like 15 minutes. If you want to, have you seen that already? Which one?
So we're going to lose the audience?
But I'm just saying, if you guys want to see, it's like with headphones, it's upstairs.
What
and it's
floor?
quite, it's Oscar's work. Yeah, that's what she didn't tell me, I forgot. I think it's second, it's one floor above, yeah.
Okay, second floor, there's an installation going on in 4 minutes. It's up to you, we could choose just to end it here, or we could carry on and just forget about this installation. It's up to you, Barty.
Peace is totalitarian in its nature.
Right.
If you want peace, then you're obviously a totalitarian.
Okay. Is peace totalitarian? Do we agree?
I don't know really. Wouldn't a virtual place where there was all this conflict, it would still, even though everyone's in physical bodies, but then it's okay, what's not real about a consciousness that's in a...
I mean, do you think it's better to have this kind of confrontation of views in the virtual world than in this pure physical world?
No, I don't think
I thought this exhibition was called Mars and Beyond. I thought that presupposed we are going to, Elon says, become a multiplanetary species. And that's real life. Why are you talking about, a kind of retreat into these virtual sort of games when we could be, delivering pizza? I know it's a shit job, but
So you really
homeless people, they make me laugh because sometimes they sleep in strange, most awkward places and people have to walk around them, especially on Oxford Street. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Mars could be like, rather than some kind of
is it going to be full of hope?
Astral painted virtual reality fucking wank dream.
Okay, what do people think about that? Will Mars actually also have homeless people?
Yes, of course it will. And then, they'll make us laugh and we'll chuck them a triangular coin.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it will probably be a bit like, what's it called, that thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Total Recall?
Yeah, it'll be exactly like that.
Okay, will Mars end up being like Total Recall, the Arnold Schwarzenegger version, as opposed to the new version?
There is only dystopia. You can only aim for the best, least worst dystopia. Utopia is a myth. It's utopia leads to...
What is the least worst dystopia for you?
Well, kind of like it is now, but on different planets.
Okay, so a bit like a kind of London, is that what Total Recall is like? A bit like London, with a few more arms, a few more mutations, but essentially the same, but on a different...
I think we will take all our racial prominence, basically.
I mean, do you agree with this least worst dystopia theory?
I think you would start off like a bright idea and then maybe get dark really quickly,
Yeah.
Because there it could be even really nicely corrupt very quickly. So don't have anything to do.
Okay. Come and have a... Nanny, give us a final thought if you're off. You got distracted. Least worst dystopia. Do you agree with that idea?
it's like, what is the least bad dystopia of all the, you know, I guess you've got like, you know, you've got Blade Runner, you've got Total Recall, you've got Gattaca. What's the least worst dystopia?
Flash forward.
I don't really know.
Is that a dystopia? Flash forward. Okay.
I don't really know.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Flash forward.
I feel like it takes some time to think about that.
Okay, well then we've got all the time. Let's go maybe go around the table on this one. Least worst dystopia?
The worst dystopia.
No, the least worst. As opposed to a utopia, which I don't think anyone could agree.
Utopias tend to require some kind of
Authoritarianism, you were saying.
kind of monovision.
Yeah. What's your least worst dystopia?
Wow, I've already said it, you know, kind of like...
That Total Recall.
UBI on Mars, like picking the arse, drawing through beaches. Hopefully drugs, most drugs will be legal. I think that's... It's very dumb that drugs aren't legal.
So in a way, a good dystopia would at least be one that drugs are legal. Final thought? Least worst dystopia?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you, I mean, that's what I do. That's what I do. Anyway.
He is the distorter. All like utopia and dystopia, and it's always like someone's gonna like and dislike.
Okay, so one person's utopia is another dystopia.
Yeah, exactly. In a dystopia, some people might really be like, say like now, some people are probably like, shit, yes, the coronavirus is in, or like, you know.
So in a way, it's some people's utopia and people that want to get rid of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sort of thing.
Okay, so one man's utopia is another man's or woman's dystopia.
As I was going to say, I'm glad you corrected yourself there. Fucking sexist pig.
Is that it? Is that your point?
Just like, how can you, if we are made up of these zeros and ones, then how can you non-binary, because that's binary codes, when we get down to the essentials of things?
I mean, is it, okay, Chris?
Sorry, what? I mean, non-binary in what sense? I mean, digital and binary are not the same.
That's what we're here.
I mean, digital can express in infinite or almost infinite randomness. Binary just implies that you only have one bit in binary coding.
So what are you saying, Chris?
I'm just answering what your point was.
Okay, right.
I was just semi-making a joke.
Yeah, but I mean, I think what you're saying here is that binary is very black and white. You've got 0, you've got 1, and it's very much oppositional.
Apparently that's the code, isn't it? 1, 0, binary code of creation. So I was just been a little bit facetious.
Okay, well that's fine, it's still good, you can do that, but we've got potentially new customers here. Come take a seat on the table chat, don't be scared. What we're talking about is one man or woman's dystopia, another man's utopia.
The Mars installation upstairs.
Ian, final thought before you go.
So it's worth checking out.
Let's get final thoughts before you go. I feel like this is disintegrating anyway. So final thought, Martin.
I love your table.
Thank you. You can see this, just Google Talkaoke, you can see it, we appear everywhere.
But King Arthur didn't sit in the middle. That was always.
That's why he got brought.
No, he always said, oh, King Arthur was round table. And that meant that everybody was equal. But he didn't sit in the middle, did he? He sat so, because he was supposed to get rid of the left hand, right hand.
Okay, let's get some final thoughts on this side. Final thought? Final thought? You're still processing it? Okay, well I'll come back to you. Martin, final thought? You got a final thought? Are you looking forward to the future? You are? Why?
I think it's a beautiful life. Like, I think just people don't appreciate the existence of really appreciate the life.
Yeah, okay. So it's just about life. We just appreciate life. When we know about death, we understand life. Final thought, Chris?
I really liked that point there. I think I was reminded of something I was told recently. I've heard many people make this comment of how can you bring a child into this world in this time that's so dark. And a wonderful man named Mac McCartney said to me, how could you not give somebody this privilege, this immense privilege that it is to live, however dark the time may be, however much challenge we face, it's a beautiful experience and it's a blessing to be alive. And so yes, I'm looking forward to the future.
We're going to have to concur with that one. Bella, final thought?
I mean, you know, if we think about the fact that we are just trapped in these special prisons, if you like, but the privileged prisons are actually amazing. That's the whole point. So, like, if we are like getting to get out of this existence, like, where are we going? Like, we don't necessarily have a physical place to go to. So the whole point is like to have fun in this physical, and at the same time use the.
But to leave our physical existence for a moment, will it make us appreciate that physical existence?
100%.
So maybe we would do it not to enjoy ourselves, but actually to enjoy the rest of our lives afterwards.
Well, I think most people who have been close to death definitely have an experience. You know?
Okay, we're doing final thoughts now. We're talking about life and death and the future. Are you looking forward to the future? Are you looking there with trepidation? Are you looking forward to leaving your body, going on holiday from your body? These are some of the questions we had in this session.
So much here and now.
Yeah. You can't think about the future. No. And how is here and now?
Calm.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Final thought, Martin.
You're rising all the time. I have a final thought and there's a rising the thought. We'll stop conversation probably.
There's truly never an end. Absolutely, there's never an end. But there will be an end to this Talkaoke because I'm going to go get myself another beer, and I feel like we don't have the attention here. I mean, we could carry this on a little bit if we want to. I mean, I'm here. I'm not doing anything. I find it difficult to talk to people outside of this private table. We are still talking here. I mean, we were kind of wrapping this up. We were talking about the final thought. But it's a question about whether we're looking forward to the future and why we're looking forward to the future. If we do, is it simply because of the privilege of existence, or is it because the future's got something more to hold, or is it because we get to escape our bodies in the very far future?
I'm kind of trying to now to live in the present and just focus on that because there's. Oh, that's what you said as well?
Yeah.
That's why we're
I love presents.
Yeah, I love presents. Yeah, there is no point thinking of the future anymore. I mean, there is point, but as we can see with this whole virus, there are things that sometimes we can't even predict. And things that can change our lives that's beyond our control.
Does that make it exciting?
I mean, I'm not very excited about coronavirus, to be perfectly honest.
You're already not in the present, by the way. Once you think about that, you're not in the present. It's a trigger.
Okay. Any final thoughts? It's the final countdown. This may be the last ever Talkaoke before the wave of virus hits.
It's great to be here.
It's great to be here. It's fantastic to be here. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. It's a real pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure to see the film. And I have to say as well, I thought that the film is different when you watch it with a group of people from start to finish, as opposed to when you watch it, you encounter it in a loop by yourself. And that's interesting. That's another topic for another conversation. But interesting. To change the context actually changes the film. But anyway, that's for another one. Thanks everybody.